Prince Rupert left and Jakob Steininger right credit released as a courtesy of Mr. Steininger. A pair of European mathematicians have proven a 300-year-old inference on shaped Rhine and won a bet on behalf of a long-dead Englishman who got into a famous argument with his prince. The story begins with an experiment. Take two gaming dice, put one on top of the other. Now think if you could position one in such a way that the other could pass through it without touching the sides. If your suggestion is that no such thing could be possible, then you took the losing side of a bet made 300 years ago between Prince Rupert of the Rhine and nephew of Charles I of England and the mathematician John Wallis. Rupert, who had studied glassmaking and metallurgy, proved to Wallis that if you tilted a cube on its side and bored a hole towards its inner diagonal, you could slide the second cube through even if they were the same size. The historians aren't sure if he actually drilled a hole through a gambling die. Wallis later produced this theorem with a proper equation, which would come to be known as the Rupert tunnel, or the Rupert property. In 1938, scientists reproduced this concept with much more complex shapes than a cube, such as a tetrahedron and octahedron, or for Dungeons & Dragons players, a 10 and 8-sided dice. In 2017, a team of mathematicians proved that even more complex shapes, the dodecahedron of D12, and the icosahedron, the shape that makes up both the soccer ball and the D20, have the Rupert property, which, to reiterate, means that there exists a way of tilting one of two equally sized shapes in such a way that would allow a second to pass through a hole created through the first. Quantum Magazine's Erica Clary reports that some shapes have incredibly tight fits, with one kind of tetrahedron, for example, passing through a space 0.000002, the size of the shape. Tight or not, every shape tested has been able to pass through. But now, in a discovery that will have Rupert's bones rattling in their coffin, modern mathematicians have produced a shape without the Rupert property. Jakob Steininger, a mathematician at Austria's Federal Statistics Organization, and Sergei Yurkevich, a researcher at AR Tech, an Austrian transportation systems company, recently unveiled the nopahedron, a made-up word that blends Rupert with no. This one-sided 8-sided object cannot fit through another like it, no matter where you bore the hole or how you tilt it. Tom Murphy, a software engineer at Google who has explored the question extensively, told Clarac that he has created hundreds of millions of shapes through computer programs which have found Rupert tunnels through almost all of them. No-pert candidates are extremely rare, she writes, and the question of whether they are true no-perts or whether the computer program can't run tests on every possible position that exists to place a shape is actually given in this age of quantum computers and are difficult to tell. Also check out Mathematicians Discover Elusive Einstein Shape, the miracle that disrupts order. Enter Steininger and Yurkevich, two childhood friends entering their third decades of life who saw a video of a cube passing through a cube in 2021 and were instantly interested in the problem. The scope of their innovations will not be regaled here but remains on Quantum Magazine for those who want to read more. The easiest way to find out whether shapes possess the Rupert property is to hold them both under a light. Tilt one shape until its shadow casts over the broadest possible space and then try to fit the other shadow inside. Mathematicians Proving Things, teens, say they have new proof for 2,000-year-old mathematical theorem, and method scholars thought impossible. This was the basis for the calculations in the computer simulations of Steininger and Yurkevich's eventual breakthrough. They developed a pair of theorems, CERN, global, and one local, which would isolate each point of the shadow and help the program compartmentalize possible violations to the Rupert property. Eventually, the pair designed a shape that looks a little like a flower vase, which, according to both the global and local theorem, could not fit through itself. Consisting of 1/30 the triangles and two regular 3-sided polygons, the shape is a true no-pert, first of its kind ever to be discovered and confirmed. It took 18 million examination blocks for the program to rule out every possible position that the shapes might take. Beautiful challenges solved. Father-daughter duo won the race to decode an extraterrestrial message sent from Mars to test humanity, having overruled the age-old judgment. The pair, who solved it in their spare time, say they will keep on the lookout for other problems. We're just humble mathematicians. We love working on such problems, Steininger said. Well, keep doing that. Watch 26 Rupert shapes in action below.